Hello and good afternoon. Hope everyone had an amazing week and are definitely keeping themselves safe. So, for today's session, obviously, I am really excited to be hosting today with Director Engineering of Clustox, Omer Aslam. Moving forward towards the introductions, I am Sabrina Malik, the community lead and digital marketing expert at RubyConf Pakistan. So today we have as our guest speaker Omer Aslam. He is currently working at Clustox as the Director Engineering and is responsible for web development, sound project architecture, project delivery, and managing software development team. Now, his professional experience is really impressive, you guys. He has over a decade of industry experience with, like 11 years of experience with Ruby and Ruby on Rails. So he graduated from FAST in 2010 with majors in computer science. So while we wait for even more viewers to come in, Omer, I would really like for you to tell us how you started your career journey with Ruby and Ruby on Rails, and how do you feel that it compares to other programming languages?
Yeah, thank you, Sabrina, and thank you, everyone. Hope you are having a good time. Yeah, I have started working on Ruby on Rails in 2011. Yeah, I think 2011. So my first year after my university completed my first experience in .NET, but I shifted to Ruby on Rails, and it was a bit of choice thing. I decided to go to that technology stack by reviewing the technology stack which I have already worked on, like the .NET, Java, PHP, and then I saw that there is a lot of at that time there's a lot of boom in the industry of the Ruby on Rails as well. So I started journey my Ruby on Rails journey in 2011. Then have hands-on in many projects from medium to large enterprise. And currently I'm heading up a team of 30 plus developers and some of quality assurance engineer as well. And my responsibility, as Sabrina told, is about the architectural design of the project and code reviews. Also, I am currently doing some development as well on some of my projects, because it is always good to hands-on with the latest trends and latest things that the world is going on. So in this presentation, I will also use the latest version of the Rails, which is 6.1, and the latest Ruby version, which is 2.7.4.
Right, so that is great. Thank you for introducing yourself, Omer. It's very nice to have you. Thank you so much. I just want to say it out there. Honestly, again, I feel like I'm being a bit redundant, but honestly, it's always so nice to have speakers from different companies, different countries as well. That they take out the time and take out basically a lot of time from their regular jobs and everything to be here and support the community and give them these amazing presentations. So honestly, again, a huge thank you. Without further ado, I am gonna let you share the screen. So guys, while Omer sets up his screen share, I just wanted to let you know that, whatever questions you want to ask, you can ask them during the presentation, and I will be sharing with them side by side with Omer. So he will be answering them, so it's more efficient for you guys. And obviously later on, when all of the questions have been answered, if there are any left, so we will be doing them like we always do at the end of the session. So Muhammad Irfan is saying Salam everyone. Muhammad Aslam Barkat is also saying Assalamu alaikum everyone. Walaikum salam guys. Hope you are having an amazing day and enjoying your weekend.
Great, awesome. Walaikum salam to everyone. Should I start sharing my presentation first?
Yes.
There would be two part of this presentation or the session. One is the presentation, and also the topic has two parts. So one is, let me know if you can see my screen after I make it.
Yes, we can show your screen.
Okay, that's great. So yeah, so there are two parts of the topic as well, which is one is understanding the active storage and the direct uploads. I will come to the second part. And also in this session, I will split up in the presentation as well as some live coding. We will try if we can get through that, but let's see. So this is just a introduction which I just borrowed from RubyConf. If you don't mind. So currently I'm working on Clustox, which is I would say probably that is a Ruby lover software company. We started with very basic level, and we just started with the 2 or 3 developers in 2012. And currently now we are more than 50 people, and 80% of are the IT staff or the technical staff, including quality insurance guy, business analyst, and the QA. So we always try to work on the cutting edge technology stack. This is one of the team members' pictures, I think 6 months ago. We have a bit more now. So, and we are always hiring. So this is my pitch. Going on to the outline of the presentation. So first of all, we will just see some introduction with the active storage, and let me add some stopwatch as well. Then we will see how we can use that in the Rails app. There are few slides that I will show, then we will get into the code directly. Then we will have a direct upload intro and using direct upload in a Rails app. Then we will see that how we can convert that simple active storage into direct upload after having some poly view of how direct upload or pre-signed URL things working and how this is very good way to do your file uploading. And please bear in mind that these times are not actual, might be it's just like the estimated than the actual time. So I just estimated in first slide. I'm not sure how much it could go, but obviously we will finish up in a designated time, which is 1 hour. And I hope I'm trying to complete in 30 minutes so we can have a more interactive sessions, questions as well. So starting with the active storage, I hope everyone can hear me well. If something happened to my mic or something bad happened, let me know. I'll try to cover that. So starting with the active storage, this is a module which is in the Rails core Rails now. Before that, prior to that, we have different gems which we use for uploading files, images, etc., like the carrier wave, paperclip. Most of guys use among these gems, and they are very useful and they are elegant as well. And if you have not updated them to active storage, there is no harm. If you have a previous version of a Rails, you can stay with that. But obviously, if you are creating or building a new application with the latest version of Rails, you definitely already have that active storage. So it's not required to be redundant on paperclip on the or carrierway or any other gem. So Rails team, I guess they found it that this is an essential thing to do in any application. So let's add this active storage. So active storage is doing a lot of stuff because people don't know much about that. So they sometimes not hands-on with these things. So I try to go through with you that how easy it is, and we can simply use that in our Rails application. Okay, so first of all, you have to start your new Rails project, and this is the first page that everyone see. These are the few commands that everyone know that whenever they have to create a new project, they just need to run these commands: Rails new blog. On that blog, generate the scaffold, and scaffold, you know that it creates some template, or I would say some template on the particular model or resource. So scaffolding done, then you have to create your DB. This is the last command. Which is the new one, Rails active storage install. By installing this command, what it does, it creates 2 or 3, I guess. In 5.2, there were 2 tables which raise active storage command create, and now there are 3 tables. So they create those migrations, and you just have to run those migrations to create those tables. So everything is then done and stored on those particular tables. I'll show that those table as well in a while. And then these are just 3 steps that we need to do in order to enable the file upload. You just need to add some file field. Hello, I hope you can hear me. Let me check my internet is fine.
Yes, we can hear you. I will let you know if there is any issue.
Gotcha. I thought that there's some. Okay, so that's good. So there are 3 steps as you can see in my screen. One is just adding the file field to your form. Second one, you know that you have to permit the param if you're adding new one. And the third one, which is again the active storage thing, you don't need to add any migration. If you are, if you are adding some field, you have to add some migration that it will store some data in your database. Like if I have to add the title, or I have to add the content or something, I have to add the migration obviously. But due to these 2 tables that active storage already created, they don't need to store anything in the main model, because they are the polymorphic association, and they can handle all of those association as well. So we just have to define this has one attached, and if there are many, has many attached, like I say cover or cover photo or whatever it is. For a user, it could be user has one attached profile picture, avatar, something like that. And it can be has many as well if there are multiple things. These are the pretty 3 lines which we need to update. And after just this awesome step that would display the picture, I mean, you have to just on the show or whatever the page you want to show that, you just need to image tag, and that's it. Post or cover photo, because I added the cover photo thing. So that will show that cover photo. Without anything, there would be something, but as Rails promise, you don't need to configure a lot of things. So it would be really simple. There's a rule as well, which is say that. So let's move on to the next. I think yeah, there are some other more feature as well, like image variant, where we can, if you were using some carrier wave or some paperclip, you can see that we can create a thumb or other version as well. One image can have multiple versions, thumb version, medium version, and different sizes. So we can do that easily from active storage. We have video and PDF upload as well using the same methods. And because video or PDF don't have the image, but we can have one crop preview image as well for the PDF, for the video. So video is a 5-minute, I just want to have one picture of that video that I want to show, and when user click on that will play. So that's the preview as well. And then they also provide those powerful thing like analyzing a file. What is the width, what's the height, what is the duration of the video, and some more stuff which you can see in their official repo as well. If I go to the repo, we can definitely see all of these things. Very powerful things they are providing. And one thing I have missed in that is they are providing the disk service, right? Where you want to store those files. Is it a local file? Is it a S3 Amazon file? You don't need to worry much about their implementation. All of these implementation have been done by Active Storage module. I mean, they have written a very good code, and just you need to set your keys in the configuration, and just define those things. That is the Google or AWS 3. I will show you that. There is a mirror service as well, which is useful in live or live projects, where you want to have a service where if anything is upload to some service, you want to have a mirror of those files to some other service as well, to have a fault tolerance, or some, if temporarily something is down, you can point to other thing as well. The public access. I mean, this is a nightmare to set up the buckets and thinking about all the things that, oh my God, I have to make it private and how the access would be for our user. And I mean, there are a lot of things to worry about when you are doing that. They by default having a private access, and I will show you how they are hiding the main URL and showing you only have access to the Rails URL. So it's very powerful to be a private access, like you said. ActiveStorage assume private access to services, so you don't need to much worry about these things. And obviously, I have went through these things as well, how you will attach and all the stuff, and you will get into that. Right. So before moving to the next part, we will just doing some hands-on with you guys. It's already 10 minutes or 12 minutes when you started, and we will get through these things as well. Yeah, so there's a question. There's no pros and cons of ActiveStorage over Carrier Wave. I would say that ActiveStorage is a core library of the Rails. It would be built, it would be handled, it would be maintained by the Rails core team. So this is a very first point. Carrier Waves or Paperclip are not meant to be managed or maintained by any company like this, any team like this. Paperclip has a strong team. I guess they are Thoughtbot company that is managing that, but obviously all the things that ActiveStorage will provide, they will not provide those things. Then once the ActiveStorage is live, they also have less contribution on those in these types of gems. So they have done a very good job, but now we have the ActiveStorage, and we also try to get benefit from this module as we are doing with the other modules of the Rails application, Rails framework. So let's get started. I hope my screen is shared. Let me share it again to be on safe side. Okay, I need to share the terminal. Board. Okay. Okay, so I hope you can see it. It's just the same scaffold thing which I have done on this project in just 5 minutes before this call. And I just created one post and tried that it is working. So now we have to do this together. Let me set this up. So this is a database file. This is a gem file, Ruby version, that's it. And this is the one scaffold which I have done is for the post. If I go to models, this is only one. So if I just need to has one attached, I could say this time picture, not the cover photo. And I promise you to show you tables as well. Okay, I have to share this one. Let me share my P-SQL as well, which I'm currently using to quickly see what is in for this. So these are the three tables that ActiveStorage has created. One is the attachment, blobs, and the variant. Variant is used as a recent one in the Rails 6, and it is used for storing the variant. And blobs and attachment is the main table. So now currently there would be no entry if I go to the query and yeah, ActiveStorage blob, here it is. So there would be no entry, and on blobs, there would be no entry here as well. So everything is empty. So I'm just the has one attached picture. There are the three steps which I mentioned in my slides. Remind them, recall them, and meanwhile, the first step is this. Then obviously you have to add something to your controller, which is yes, which is adding permitting that. I'm going downward, but that's fine. We can do in any way. Okay, now I've added the picture down. Now I'm going to the form. And here, so currently, what is currently showing? Yeah, that's a good thing to show as well. And Again, I am sharing my another window. I hope you can see my browser as well now, which is the empty post, right?
Yes, we can see your browser.
Yeah, persistent storage. I will come into that as well. That's a very good question. We will come into that as well after showing you how the things are going on. Let's see some magic, because if someone is around and might be afraid of this stuff and might be not very familiar with the Ruby, so they will praise the Ruby first, and then we will get into the detail as well. So currently, this is the first page. It doesn't has anything because I have not added that into the views yet. So it's just a one title thing. I would say something like Pakistan day or something, and it will create a post, and it's just one post without anything. So it's a one title thing. And if I can show you here, I hope you can see my this query thing as well. And it is like post one query. So there's a one post, which is Pakistan day, which I just created, right? So now I'm trying to add some file, which I call a picture of that post. So as when it has picture, here I added the same. Let's copy that and as having a file of picture. Let's make that as well. Yes, it is. So because file field, I guess, same field. Okay. So here we have that file field. So we follow the all three steps. If I can, okay, let's go further. I will share the slides if you need that. So let's say I have some Nanga Parbat photo, which is one of the beautiful mountain here in Pakistan. This one like this. Yeah. And I created a post. Oops. So the post has been created. Wow. We have done something right. Okay, and I just need to see how the post works. Yeah, so there's just a title, no image. I didn't have any, I didn't add anything, any column here, which is how the ActiveStorage works. And if go to the ublogs or the, I would say, I don't know how to copy this thing, but ActiveStorage attachment. Go to start this. Yeah, I had missed something starting or something. Okay, no, here it is. So this is the post, which is a record type. Those who know about the polymorphic thing, they know that how this have been associated with that model. So this is a post type, record ID is 3, and also they save the blobs as well. In the blob, they have that particular properties of that image. So these are the things. There's a key, what is the type. Also, they have identified the weight, height, all the things. I mean, this is pretty awesome, the size, etc. So you don't have, you didn't do anything really, but now you have to see where it is. I mean, this is how the database. And as I show you here, I hope you can't see my, but now you can see the slides as well. So as I show you here that this is a one-line thing that will show this flag, nothing else, nothing fancy, nothing we need to do anything. So this was the form. Now I go to the show, which is responsible when I will see a one post and post or title. No, now this is a picture. Yeah, this is a picture. Let's see if we can see that right now. Oops, because we have an image tag. If that works, great. So that works. Pretty awesome or not? So I hope that everyone can see how easy is this? Any comments or anything on that before I move to the some of the variant thing, and then I'll move to some other part.
So Sayyida Nurulan is also saying awesome, Muhammad Irfan, awesome, Usama and Ayat, awesome. So
So
a lot of people are really liking it. Asad Hanif is saying Ruby is love. And we have a question from Hamza Bhatti. He is asking, we need to add field in table also in a column, I think.
no, that's all the thing magic have been done by the ActiveStorage. So we don't need to have anything, no database migration for adding anything. So I will add any new fields, new pictures, new images that would not require anything. Right.
Okay. That's
Yeah,
great.
and yeah, so we just followed just 3 steps: form file field add, params we have to permit and has been attached, and that's it. Don't need any migration, and then the cover photo, and then that image would be available to you. Yeah, there are the other things like the variants, which I can show you quickly, like the post or picture dot variant. And I guess let me go to that here to make sure that I am writing the right. Yeah, so it's a variant. Then you can resize to any size. Resize to, I would say, it's a very big picture, so that's 300 to 300. Boom. So that's it. I mean, 100 to 100, anything you can do with this. You don't need to store anything, and these will be stored by ActiveStorage by itself. You see, it's already stored at 300 and 300. So don't need any configuration on the model level that I need this thumb, this thumb, this thumb. No. You just tell that add views and they save it.
Okay, that's great. So
I'll show you the.
we have a lot of questions, Omer. So Abdul Hanan is saying that displaying part is not working for me. So Abdul Hanan, if you can elaborate, so that would be great. Adnan Mughal, can we show preview of an image on post's new form before actually saving the post?
This would be done by, this is a good question. This would be done by JavaScript and not with the ActiveStorage. ActiveStorage has been JavaScript, but that is for the direct upload, they say. We have a lot of JavaScript to preview the images on the client side.
Okay. Okay, great. Zishan Aslam, how can I join video session directly and ask questions? For that, Zishan, we would prefer that, you kind of like ask the questions, whatever it is in the live stream, like you kind of commented here. It's much more easier, but, we can do something about that as well, maybe in the future sessions. Muhammad Osama, upload multiple images will work with this approach? So that's a question.
That's a question, and I'm jumping into that right now. So Sama, that's dedicated to you. What is the next thing I'm gonna do? And
okay,
you
great. And
spot
last
on that. So yes, please.
comment by Osama Inayat. He is saying Paperclip used to convert larger CSV or Excel files to zip file format, and we have to configure it for these files. What about ActiveStorage about these files formats?
Yes, so both of these questions will be covered in my next 5 minutes or so. I'm afraid, I mean, that's a very good thing that we are participating, but if we couldn't get into the other part of the presentation, which is the direct upload, then we will see how to reschedule that or something. So it is good to have a one focus thing, then two, but let's see if we can cover that. I hope we can cover the introduction and might not be some hands on that based on the time we will have. So let's jump into the two things, which is having the multiple files. And in the multiple files, we can have many things. We can have videos, we can have a PDF, CSV, and stuff like that. How the things work with this. So first of all, like the has been attached, has many attached is the available command, or I would say for macro, I would say for this ActiveStorage. And same 3 steps, I added this here, has many files, Now I have to permit that. Permitting is obviously you have the array, then you have to permit the array. I added the array, that's why. And form, yeah, I need to have a form, and that would be, now I would say files, and this would be files as well. And next thing would be, because I want to have multiple, so I would say multiple equal true, so that it can accept the multiple files as well. So once we're done with that, we have to show something as well. Before going into the show, let's see that it is working or not, having a multiple files. Oh, this is the previous one. This is the one that we are going to be looking on. So I'm now going to new post. So there's two things, which is good, picture files. So let's say I am creating some fish catalog, and just having clownfish as a main picture. And then let's say I have multiple images like the goldfish, golden, let's have a angelfish and the golden fish, one is JPEG and WebP. Then let's say we have some PDF as well to show some specification and the video. So I am currently having 4 files, 4 items, having different extensions, different types, and I'm open that. Let's say now I will believe it will break my system. Let's see. No. Oh God, it doesn't break my system. So that's great. Something is very good going on with ActiveStorage. So let's go into some backend. So let's wear the backend guy cap and see what is happening. So it insert the post, it insert the ActiveStorage blobs attachment for all of my 4 files, which I have added. Obviously with the different content types, the golden long.jpg, this image, this is PDF, this is image, videos, all of these things have been handled very efficiently. Now I have to see how to show them. And let's to be confirmed, we can't rely on. So yeah, here all the files have been in the database: PDF, WebP, MP4, and JPEG. So that's pretty cool. Now we have to show them. So the one problem, okay, not getting into the problem. Let's see, be positive, show something. So obviously now I have to loop them because I have now multiple files. So these would be files, and I would say not equal. I would say that the post files dot each do, I would say file, and let's say end first. Yeah, so now I have this file. I don't have the picture now, not the post file, and file.variant resize to limit and 300, 300. Let's see what would happen if I refresh that. Okay, so it breaks, and why it breaks, it shows some error, ActiveStorage invariable error. And why it is showing this? Because of the fact that this file is of, you can see, so no, file dot blob, I guess, yes. So this file is of PDF type, and PDF type would not have any variant. The image can be a variant of 300 to 300 or something like that, but PDF or video file can't have a variant. You can't squeeze them or cut them. So this is the valid error that show. What the Rails provide that, I mean, Rails have, or the ActiveStorage team has saved us a lot. So they provide some valuable macros for that, valuable method for that. One is file dot, I suppose it is variable, file dot variable, which means that it can be have a variant. So I am just adding, I can add this, the file dot variable, then show this, and If let's say no, then show for now, let's say we show no image for now. Okay, what the syntax error I have made? Okay, I think else and okay, let me confirm that. Is it a find of variable or something? So guys, help me finding that particular syntax error that is currently coming up, and no one answered that, and I
Yes.
found that before you guys.
Actually,
So
Omer,
no
so there were a lot
point
of
for you.
answers.
Oh,
Most
that's great.
included, yes, all were saying end of each block is missing. Adnan Mohal also
Good.
said end is missing for each loop. Arslan Yaqub missed an
Great.
end tag. So
You are awesome. You all are awesome. So that's good. We have a good company here.
yes,
So
a lot
yeah,
of
the
people
end
are
was
very
missing, and
attentive.
finally we have the images. That's good. That's very interesting, and it's very big thing for me. So the images have been done, but obviously those are not images we have done. So but the other thing they have provided is like the file dot variable, there is a file dot previewable thing, and based on that we can actually link to preview. So I am just copying this and pasting here. So file to previewable means that it can be preview like a video or a PDF, the first page preview, and resize to limit, same thing. And then the file have been passed, got is a link to tag. And I'm now just refreshing and see how it works. Oh, awesome. So this is the video I have, this is the PDF I have uploaded. And both thumbnail, or I would say their preview has been available for us. And I'm clicking on that video and it's just started downloading. So that's a cool video, I guess. And same goes with the PDF. So yeah, that's a cool video. You can see through taxing this PDF as well. So these are the links. One thing I want to look you guys is the link of this particular resource. This is currently residing on my local machine. I haven't passed to that particular part, but I'll show you how to upload that to the S3 or how to configure that for the local. Obviously, for the development, you can do the local thing, but for the production thing, you have to set up the S3 or Google Cloud or Microsoft Azure, etc. But look at the link. I mean, this is currently having a very good link. It is not like just public or something. It has all the detail, and it is currently coming to our server. All the authentication would be done there, and then it will show the user. So that's a pretty cool, some of the pretty cool thing that ActiveStorage provide. And it also provide to delete the files as well, like this purge. Whenever you have to delete that, we can add the disposition as well. They provide this some helper as well to use that. And let me jump into the how to configure that for the S3, which initially Asad Hanif also asked about that. For that, if we go to the config environments, so this is a development.rb. So there's one file ActiveStorage create, which is a storage.biomonth. And initially, okay, I don't have that as well. So initially it just has this disk, test or local, and all of these have been implemented on their library. So if I am saying the local, they know that they where to store these things, right? But obviously for the live application, you can't rely on the local. You have to go to some bucket to save the time, storage, and the network cost, right? So I have one bucket which I say geeks WIP, I guess. Let me confirm that in my project. Yeah, it's a geek.wip, not geeks. And it's a southeast one region. And other keys already been, oh, I haven't add those keys. So I have to add those keys. Uh, so if the one thing, this is a bonus thing, whenever you have to add secret keys, Rails now provide a credential thing. I believe that you know about those things, but you can, as listed here, use Rails credential edit to set the AWS secret key or secret key, etc. So always use these. This is a very secure thing. There were the previous things which we use, but this is the best thing because it saved only the encrypted file, and the master key has will not be pushed with your repo. So I don't think I have the credential. Let me stop sharing the screen so I can add the credentials quickly if that's not been added. And this Rails credential edit. I'm looking into those not been added. I hope you can not see my screen.
We cannot see your screen.
Yeah, I don't have those keys. I'm just quickly adding them.
Right. So while we're at it, we actually have a ton of more questions from our audience. So let me know when you want to answer them.
You can ask now. While I'm working on this.
Okay, so one of the questions by Zishan Aslam. So he is asking, what is the storage capacity of Active Record?
Okay, I come into that. So because it is not storing anything, DB has just a name and the relation. If you are setting the local, it is storing on your local machine. It depends on your local storage. And with the S3, obviously that's a serverless. They don't need any capacity restriction. You can store, how much you like. So it doesn't matter, I guess.
Okay, great. So while previously we were talking about image preview, Adnan, who asked the question regarding the image preview, so he was saying, thank you so much, Omer. Can you give me any names for the JavaScript library for image preview?
Yeah, I don't have that handy right now, but I can send you. If someone have that, if someone has a very good JavaScript guy and he, remember those things.
But actually commented,
Obviously.
he said, I think there is one name like avatar upload, I think in React.
Yeah,
so there's that.
there would be many. Yes.
Yes. So anyways, Adnan, we will comment in the, like reply on the comment that you just sent with the list. Right. So moving on, we have more questions. So Asad Hanif was asking, most of the gems are under Creative Commons licenses. Which licenses would you usually recommend one should avoid so to not run into issues later?
That's the licensing thing. I'm not very much familiar with those things because with open sources thing, obviously you have to learn about the license, but I'm not very much familiar, so I can't comment on this thing right now.
Okay, makes sense. And he also asked how to limit uploading only a certain type of files.
Yeah, we can do that on the front end side as well as on the backend side as well by having a validation. But that's a very good question. That is the thing that we can see how they validate that. But it's a very good question.
Great. So, and another question was, can we upload .gif or GIF, however you want to pronounce it?
Yes,
so can
any
we upload that
file.
format?
Yes, any file we can upload because the problem would be for the preview. But for the JPEG, PNG, SVG, anything could be, consider as a image as well.
Okay, that's great. Asad Hanif is saying, thank you very much for the great response and informative talk. Asad Hanif, again, he is saying, very insightful session. Thank you, Omer and Sabrina. Looking forward for another one from you. Definitely. We do it very regularly. So make sure to tune in every other week. We try to do our webinar sessions. Muzammal Aslam Barkat, he is saying, informative. Adnan is also saying, thank you, Sabrina and Omer. So you guys are most welcome. And let's move on.
But we are not done, so we are
Yeah.
not going to leave you. So you have a few more minutes with me. Thank you for all the feedback and the appreciation. So meanwhile, we have those things, and I again shared my screen and added my S3 keys with the credential added. Try this if you haven't tried this earlier. It's a very good thing. So now S3 tickets, things have been saved. Where we need to change those things, as I show you storage.yml, we just need to copy this Amazon thing, and as described here, those would be now populated with my S3 keys, which I set. In development.rb, I just need to find out ActiveStorage.service currently set to local. That's why it is storing somewhere in here, storage. All of these files have been stored here. I don't want to plop my memory or storage or server storage, so I'm just adding the Amazon. Obviously, I need to restart this because I have changed the configuration. Look at this Rails 6, how fast the server start would be. It's just, few 1 or 2 seconds. Now it is then in the Amazon. Let me delete my all the storage. So I go here and okay, I'm not deleting, but you can see that how many files it is. Or I can delete. Yeah, I can delete here. Yeah, that's moved to trash. So we will be sure where it is going. So now I have set this Amazon. I already started the server. Now let's create a few more posts. Going to the post thing. Okay, and now let's say what I'm going to add is K2. I have one feature K2 somewhere, and with the files, remember, I want these files to be on where? On S3 bucket, not here. So let's say first on pictures. Because it has a multiple pictures. Okay, something went wrong with storage.yml. We have missed something, and I think it's not been populated or something like that. Not expected column, it's kind of elements might be. I need to find where it is. Oops. Oh my God. I removed the comments there. You saw that these things happen, especially when you are doing live coding. Don't worry, we will fix that. Let's go to the post with a get request. Obviously, that would not be added. Broken. Let me add some.
So we did have a comment from Mohsen Jamshed. He was saying line number 9, please remove. And
Yes,
followed
but
by another
this is
comment by
broken
Adnan.
as well.
Oh.
So now we have to see what happened here. Okay, so geek WIP S3F South 1. Let me confirm that everything's are good in place there. Oops, the region I pasted wrong then. Now region is corrected. We should have good news now. Let's say good news. And let's have a password mask. Data post. Please come. Oh, that's good. So now where it is, we can see if I go to inspect element, it is still showing the active storage link, but you see that it redirect to the S3 now, which is a very awesome thing by ActiveStorage. Every call of any external source first come to your Rails server. You can do anything. You can authenticate. You can see that either this have the permission or right to see this image or not. And then obviously, if nothing validate, then it will go to the S3 bucket. So that's pretty cool. We just need to define there the keys and everything would be very smooth. Let's have some multi-files or some fish aquarium and let's have this here and few clown flag and all the not getting one, but this one. I have an aquarium in my home, so I know few names of these creatures. Yeah, pretty awesome. They are coming from S3. They are coming from S3. You can see these S3, all the S3 files we have. So that's pretty much, we have covered the first section of the, I would say, we have covered these analyzing file. Those have been done. And which, I mean, active job, ActiveStorage rely on active job for that, which is another beautiful thing handled by new Rails version. And you can see that these jobs have been in queue and they are not waiting anything for your synchronous call. They are the asynchronous. So these are pretty much you can have them in the Rails console as well. Let's have a Rails console fun as well. Why not? So I have the post is equal to post.last, and I can what I can see, I can first purge that, which means it will delete not the post but the image, but I would say cover or picture, because the picture is a one. Okay, it is like this, yeah. So it will delete, it will handle all of these things. You don't need to worry where to delete the stuff. That will delete, and obviously, and yes, it will delete from the S3 bucket as well. But that have been done because I don't have the, so yes, that's the perform. So that's pretty much, you can see all the awesome thing in their library. You can go through the codes as well. Sometimes they take time to update the documentation, but you can go to the code and see what the other options we have. The direct upload is the awesome thing. I will cover only some concept on that. I will not cover any hands-on because of the time and because of the beautiful and the very good, energetic audience who collaborated with me. So that's what we have very few minutes left. I will just can wind up in 5 minutes, just a concept, not the hands-on. We can do that and you can see that later on.
So Omer, we actually had a couple of comments. So apparently the console was not shared for the last few minutes. So if you can like display that, yeah, so they can kind of like see the final output.
Just had a post and I just selected that, and all the pretty good like this picture is I can
right now I can okay
find
right.
So
Right now I can see.
Okay, and the dot purge is the, because it has already been purged. So
let me know, guys, if you can display the screen properly. Let us know.
There are the different methods that can be used, and then like the purge method used to delete the record, and there are the different methods for analyzing like what is the width and size and all the stuff you can do with the Rails console while developing anything like this one. Pretty good. Any question more?
We do have a lot of questions. So
So what you suggest? Should we leave this
we can
for another meeting?
we can extend this. I
Direct
mean,
upload?
if our audience is okay with it, we can cover it. And if like if anyone is busy, they can see it later on. So we can cover it. I don't think it's an issue. I mean, unless you have time, I don't see why it's an issue.
That makes sense. Yeah, I have time.
Okay.
I can
So
do.
if anyone has any, like if they're preoccupied with anything else, they can, watch the video and the live stream later on Facebook or on YouTube. So there's that. Yeah, Asad Hanif is saying, yes, please arrange another session. Yes, for sure. So we have a very long question from Mohsin Jamshed. He is one of our very regular viewers. It's always nice to say hi to Mohsin. So his question is, how do we access this URL through our file object? Do we always have publicly accessible URL? Can we have signed URL with expiry time as well?
Yeah. So that's few things can be covered in the next session. But there is a one helper which provides a raise blob path or something, which you can have a URL of any image. If I go here, I found blob path. Yeah, this is the one which the helper one, but we have another one. I guess I'm not currently remembering that, but we can definitely have the URL of this thing as well. I need to recall that, but we can definitely have that by like this one is pretty handy. I mean, you can do that, but I don't like to use this. Like this is a user avatar. I can say post or picture. If I have that picture, what is so we can use that, right? Obviously, we can find those and use those method as well. These are available here, but for the view, for the model, I need to check what is the correct one.
Okay, that's great. So I feel like we can continue with the second half or whatever is left of the presentation, and then we can move towards the conclusion.
Awesome. Yeah, so the second part is of the presentation. I was not expecting that we would have a lot of discussion. So that's why I picked that as well. But that's good that we had a lot of discussion. So this is the direct upload thing. Currently, you have seen that whenever there is a file upload, it first come to our server, and then our server have that code to either save it to the disk or to the S3 or whatever service we have defined. The problem with this approach is that it has the it has multiple dependencies on our server. So let's say we have a very big file of, let's say, 100 MB, and that file first come to our web server, right? This one. I'm currently looking into the left side of this picture. I hope you can all see my slides. If not, let me know. I will share it
We can
again.
actually share your browser, not the presentation.
Oops. Let me share the complete. Sorry for that.
Yes, so now we
Can
can see your slide.
you see? Okay. So it's just one slide before that. So direct upload is from browser with a pre-signed URL, seamless with Active Record. So that's a pretty beautiful thing with the Active Record. That is a seamless integration. So what the normal behavior is does that on the left side, if you can see that there is a your customer and the your web server where your application is residing, and whenever there is a file upload, it will come to the server. That's uploading, that's the networking, all the CPU usage, all the memory usage would be done to handle that big file, and then it will go to the S3. Again, there's a one uploading from our server to the S3 or some other third-party storage, right? The problem is visible. You can see that there is a big file always need to be uploaded first on our server, then it will be uploaded to the S3. So what the best approach would be, like, think is like a big website where there are a lot of customers using a mobile phone, using a website, and they are uploading like 1000 MB daily, or in 1 second, or in 1 minute, or 1 hour. How much traffic we are getting in our server to just uploading those files and then just giving to the S3. So this is the major problem. How this being handled is through the direct upload thing, or a pre-signed URL thing. And what the idea was that the browser or a client should directly upload the files to the S3 bucket. It could be Google Cloud or something, all the third parties. Uh, uh, the storage would be available for the client. Obviously, you can't do that with any without, it could not be public. Otherwise, someone can upload anything there and you just use that. So for that, you need to have some authentication, which is called pre-signed URL. So what it does, that whenever there is a request from a client that I want to upload that particular file, it send a request to our server, which is your web server here on the right side, and it will get the name of the file, content, and then create some checksum, and then return a pre-signed URL after issuing from the third-party service that, okay, for 5 minutes or for 10 minutes, for 1 minute, whatever time you can select, and for that particular file size, file name, you can use this link to upload. So this is how AWS looks like when they how this works. The server request the signed URL with Amazon API, they get signed URL function, then from the S3 bucket, they return that. And now in the second part, now the customer has that URL directly upload to the S3. There's no need to upload that file to our server, and then it will be uploaded to the S3. That's not needed now. You have the mobile application, you can directly upload from your mobile to the S3, and same goes to the web application as well. So this is pretty much the concept. This is very good thing in terms of usability, how the network calls would be saved, how the CPU usage, and all the memory would be saved on our server, and that would not be blocked for this file uploading. And the usage, how quickly you can do using the ActiveStorage. This is the key. Just 3 steps. They are the step that they're in fact the ActiveStorage provide in their official documentation. That's a 3 step. You have to, if you're using the npm package, then you can use this one, the above one, but most will be using the yarn or the npm package. So they would use the second one, just importing that file, then just adding one thing, which is a direct upload is equal to true with their file field thing, and it will do all the things. The third part is pretty much, we can say, tricky, but it is not tricky, as they have provided all the course settings. So we can just copy that and push to our bucket, so that S3 bucket will not deny our response or request from the client side, because it's a different domain now. It's not the domain that or the server that called about the pre-signed URL. So that's why we have to just white label those domain, either it's a local host or our domain on the server. So these are the 3 simple steps that could do the magic for the saving lot of bandwidth. So that's pretty much it. I can show you that demo, but I'm just leaving it for you guys. You can do. And quickly, if you can still see my Chrome window where I open this guide, you can just go through that direct upload thing, and you can do that as smooth as we done with the previous example. It is totally simple, nothing fancy here. So just 3 steps, you do that. And yeah, if you have the S3 bucket, you have to put this one. If you have the Google Storage, they have provided the sample one. You have to do this. Obviously, with the example.com, you have to replace. If I'm using the localhost, I have to use localhost. Otherwise, my server, and then that's it. That's pretty much. And you can do that, and you can see all the magic that is coming through that. There is no network call to a big call to our server, and all the files will be directly uploaded to S3. So that's pretty much. I had a plan to visit that as well in my coding exercise or coding preview, but I think that's to value the time of all the people. That's best. We have covered a lot. And if any question you have, any comments, we are here.
Yes, so we do have a lot of comments that we need to address. So Abdul Hanan is actually asking, upon displaying, I am getting an error saying can't resolve image into URL, undefined method, attachment URL, even though I followed all the steps you explained.
Okay, so I would recommend if you post that to the Stack Overflow and send that link to in the RubyConf, or I have shared my Twitter account as well. But I'll share my Stack Overflow account. You can just add me there for that particular question. I will definitely try to answer that if I can.
Okay, great. So what we will do is we will be adding all of the links to the description box. So it's much more easier for you to get in touch with Omer if you want. Jabran Usman is saying, nice explanation. Thank you, Jabran.
Thank you, Jabran, for attending that.
Okay, so let me see if we are, and also one of the viewers also commented that if we can share the link to the slides. So if that is possible, we will also share that right here in the live stream description. Hamad Kadir is saying, very nice, Omer Bhai. So
thank you very much.
Huge fans here you have.
Thank you, everyone. I mean, that's a very good audience, and I love to hear them. So that's a very awesome thing.
Yes. So moving towards the conclusion of this session, I feel like, so this is actually, I think, my 10th webinar that I'm hosting, and by far these have been the most like the most engaging one. That we have had so many questions and so many answers, and honestly it's like obviously one of the reasons that I enjoy hosting them so much. So we like to have more viewers. They engage with the speaker, they engage with the audience as well, so that's great. Thank you to everyone. I honestly, so I feel like I saw a lot of like new names amongst our regular ones. So Mohsin Jamshed, Adnan Mughal, Usama Inayat, these are the people that they're regular viewers of ours. But apart from that, so Sayyida Noor ul Ain, she was also saying, S3 is very awesome, and she had a lot of nice comments as well. So it's very nice to have, to see the community growing with new names and everything. It's very nice. So moving towards the conclusion of the session, Omer, a huge thank you for taking out the time and doing this session with this most amazing presentation, and obviously with the amazing slides, the code, the demos. It was very insightful. And I'm sure our audience had, very nice questions for you. And again, a huge thank you for answering them one by one.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, yes, sure. I can hear you.
Okay, thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure to have a session with you guys, and I'm always happy to answer any question. It's a learning experience. I mean, I have learned a lot of things by just preparing for this session. So everyone should contribute with this community, and it's a very great initiative. This RubyConf is getting big and big, I hope. So that's very cool. Thank you, everyone, for having me.
That's great. Oh, so we have another question. Last question, I feel like, for today's session. So Mohsen is saying, thank you so much for the session. Kindly share the code snippet and slides as well. We will do that. So the question is direct upload be allowed? So, sorry, is direct upload allowed to be done in the background as well? Seems no intermediate medium between S3 and client. The response could take some time, and we don't want our client hanging around watching the content upload.
Yeah, actually, it would be pretty fast than our server in between, because that's the S3 Amazon service, which is a serverless, and our server is has limited some all the things. So it is pretty fast. You can compare. First, it will obviously have one link down by directly accessing the S3. Another one is that it's an S3 directly from the client. So it's a pretty fast and pretty smooth as well.
Okay. Well, thank you for answering that. Hira Imran, thank you, Sabrina and Omer, for an informative session. Zishan Aslam is also saying, looking forward sessions on Elasticsearch. So that's a very
That's
interesting
a good
topic.
topic as well. Yeah.
Well, it would be very nice to have you again, Omer, with us. It was very nice. A huge thank you again. The Ruby community seems
Thank
to
you
love
very
you a
much.
lot. So that's great.
Thank you, everyone.
Well, yes,
You are
thank you.
awesome. You all awesome. You're working all great things. So please share with us as well. Thank you, everyone. Get
Right.
in touch with
Well,
me. Thank
thank
you.
you, everyone. Hope you all have a very nice weekend, and a huge thank you and shout out to Omer Aslam again for taking out the time for this amazing, amazing session. I hope you all have a very nice weekend, and bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.